Ladies and gentlemen, huge victory for President Trump, allowing him to restructure or completely end what President Trump and others have called a rogue agency. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Check this out.
And over the Trump administration's proposal to eliminate the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It was established after the 2008 financial crisis to safeguard the United States against unfair business practices. President Trump putting OMB Director Russ Vought in charge for now, who has since issued a stop work order as they work to overhaul the agency. Joining me now is Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Now, for anyone who says, my God, it's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I mean, it's named in a way that is supposed to help consumers, citizens, the economy, protect people from corporate greed. I mean, what could go wrong? What could be wrong with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau? Elizabeth Warren backed it. It's very important. It's good for the country. Well, you will hear. If you're a morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat, you will hear why the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is called a rogue agency by some, by many.
Good morning, Maria. Good to be with you.
That's where I want to start. You're set to introduce a bill this week to entirely eliminate this agency. Tell us why.
Well, first of all, the CFPB has been an albatross of an agency. It's been unaccountable to Congress. It gets its funding directly from the Federal Reserve. Most people don't know that. It basically shows up with a letter asking the Federal Reserve for hundreds of millions of dollars just so it can operate. And it really is this leviathan of an agency that just goes from company to company without really any enforceability by law. They put out these letters, these memorandum to force corporate action when they don't even go through the Administrative Procedures Act and the Process Act. This is a thing created by Elizabeth Warren. They put it in Dodd-Frank during the Obama administration. It was passed on a party line vote. And before the CFPB, each federal agency dealt with consumer protections. The Democrats' idea was to put it into one agency that operates outside of Congress, really outside of even the purview of the executive branch.
And that's what Democrats do so well. If it's outside of Congress, if it's outside of the executive branch, 20, 30, 40 newspapers, there's no memo that goes around stating, okay, we want this agency or this department or this consensus to be accepted by the U.S. government, but they're brilliant at manipulating bureaucracy. And if a government agency is not held accountable by either the president or Congress, then Democrats have an entire public relations network. New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, The Washington Post, 17 to 20 other major, basically DNC newsletters. I'm not saying that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau directly took orders from any of these newspapers. What I'm saying is if it's not held accountable, Democrats are very good at creating a zeitgeist or a political climate that pushes a department or an agency or a bureaucracy in one direction. They're very good at that. Okay, they did that through the Trust and Safety team at Twitter. And also, there's a conflict of interest if you're getting the Federal Reserve to fund any government agency.
So it's time for that agency to be shut down completely, brought to a close. So my bill would end the CFPB.
So how much do these agencies cost taxpayers when they're actually doing more harm than good with all these rules and regulations stopping companies from having progress? I assume there are other agencies in addition to CFPB that have the same situation where maybe there is room to merge these agencies into the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Well, I will tell you that regulatory overhaul, and I mean from the federal government, is something that is long overdue. There are many agencies whose missions actually need to be reformed for what our current economy does today and for the future, not for what it's been in the past. But the reason in particular that the CFPB is especially problematic is because it really operates outside of the purview of even Congress. Sure, the administrator of the CFPB has to come in and testify before Congress, but we all know those those hearings, a lot of times the director is basically trying to run out the clock when it comes to meaningful oversight. Under the Biden administration, Mr. Chopra barely answered congressional inquiries about what they were doing and why. But when they would put out publications, memos, letters, it would basically have the force of law on companies before they actually went through the full administrative process. You cannot have an agency operating like that, a rogue agency like this. So
Democrats would never allow an agency that is funded by the Federal Reserve that is not that cannot be supervised by either the executive or Congress, by either the president or Congress. They would never let a government agency like this go to activists or non-governmental organizations or Democratic Party aligned groups and say, hey, you have to do this. We're supervising either your we're doing an accounting of your finances or of your corporate practices, and you have to answer to us. But they don't answer to anyone else. And so there's yet to be an example where they have prevented or helped save the country from another financial collapse. If I could be wrong, if in the comments section, if you give me an example, if you're watching this, oh my God, this is terrible. Please give us an example of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau helping people within a state, within a city, from corporate greed or from some kind of malfeasance associated with the corporation.
My view, it's more than time for it to be shut down completely. And I'm glad that the president issued a stop work order on the CFPB because everything they've been doing needs to go under strict review.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you can understand how some people are unnerved by Elon Musk. I mean, the White House advisor Musk is asking a majority of federal workers to outline 5 weekly accomplishments and send them back in an email by midnight tonight. Musk said on X, the reason this matters is that a significant number of people who are supposed to be working for the government are doing so little.
So this was in effect for a long, long time. Check this out.
Is under fire from the Treasury Department. A new report accuses the Bureau, or CFPB, of regulatory abuses and excesses. It claims the Bureau has hindered consumer choice and access to credit, limited innovation, and imposed undue compliance burdens, particularly on small institutions. Now, the CFPB says we are reviewing the report. No comment beyond that at this time. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is also taking issue with the Bureau's director, one of the few regulators that doesn't answer to a board and can't be removed by the president.
We think it's improper. We think it's also improper that this is funded out of the Fed. This agency should be subject to proper review and not subject to one person acting on their own.
When President Obama
So this was during the first Trump administration. They wanted to shut down the CFPB. The issue here is that even if I'm wrong, let's say President Trump is wrong, let's say everyone's wrong, that it should continue and Elizabeth Warren is right, why would Elizabeth Warren back a government department that is not held accountable by even the President of the United States or Congress? Let's say, I mean, they're so into limiting or preventing an authoritarian state, while at the same time promoting a government agency that is not able to be held accountable by the United States government, by Congress. Does that make any sense at all? Well, they're very good at manipulating bureaucracy. And maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't want it held accountable by Congress or the president.
Announced the Bureau's formation back in 2010, it was a blow to big banks in Wall Street.
From now on, consumers will also have a powerful watchdog.
Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, who oversaw the formation of the Bureau, is describing these new recommendations as radical changes.
How on earth could it be a watchdog if it's not even held accountable by Congress? Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Thank you.